Alright, so Devin White just spoke for the first time as an Eagle, and he made it clear that he's hungry to bounce back from a rough season last year, as well as revealing why he signed with Philly and how he plans to challenge Nakobe Dean to grow. Meanwhile, the Eagles also made a couple very interesting new additions on defense, and we got some massive updates on the Haason Reddick situation, with Adam Schefter providing new details on why a trade hasn't happened yet. But despite this, it still seems like Reddick's days in Philly are numbered, so would this be a huge mistake by the Birds? But we're going to talk about that and all the latest Eagles news during free agency, and we won't waste any time. Let's get straight into it. So first, we start off with AJ Brown, who looks to be super locked in this offseason, as after all the media drama of this past season and everything that was going on, he released a statement on Instagram where he essentially said that he's trying to better himself and keep things more private while accepting certain situations for just what they are so he can find peace and just keep minding his own business, and that to me just sounds really great and like a super mature way of handling things, so congrats to him on that. And honestly, just eliminating and not worrying about these other distractions is surely going to help him be more focused on just improving as a player this offseason, and he's already been on that grind as these workout videos were released of AJ training hard. You can see him out there on the field working on just running and trying to increase his speed, and then in the gym working on his jumping ability by doing a couple of different things. So you love to see that from AJ Brown. Again, it just seems like he's super focused and locked in on this offseason and preparing for next season, so drop a like down below for that. And if AJ keeps this up, I mean, he's definitely going to be super prepared for the Eagles season opener in Brazil. Speaking of which, it seems like we may have actually found out who the Eagles are set to match up with in that game, as Browns defensive tackle Maurice Hurst II seemed to leak that Cleveland will be playing down in Brazil this season in a recent interview.
If you were organizing the room vacation, where are you going? If you're the party planner.
I mean, if we're doing a cruise, I mean,
what if everything's on the table?
Anything's on the table. I mean, we're playing in Brazil this year, so I mean, we could do a
Rio.
Trip. Yeah, just a little Rio trip out there.
I don't know how that would lose.
Now, due to the fact that the Eagles are playing the only game in Brazil next season, at least as far as we know of, safe to assume that the Browns are going to be taking on the Eagles on Friday night in Week 1. And that's definitely going to be a really fun matchup to open the season, especially since, again, it is in Brazil. And also, the Browns are just a good football team with a really good defense, and offensively, they also got some talent. It's just about the quarterback play. So, again, that'll be fun. I'm going to give my way too early prediction and say that the Eagles win, but what do you guys think? Do you believe this rumor, and what do you expect the outcome to be of this game if this is in fact the Week 1 matchup? Now, moving on, the Eagles also just recently went out and made another move in free agency as they added a new piece to their defensive line and going out and signing former Penn State defensive tackle PJ Mustipher to a one-year deal. And this is a signing that's just more of a move to fill out the roster and get some good competition in there for OTAs, training camp, and preseason, because Mustipher is largely unproven, at least at the NFL level. In college at Penn State, he was pretty nice, playing 5 seasons for the Nittany Lions, where he racked up 145 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles while being a captain his final 2 years there, and also being a first-team All-Big Ten in 2021 and a second-team honoree in 2022. However, teams weren't super confident that he could transfer very well to the NFL level, especially after a poor showing at the Combine, so he ended up going undrafted before signing with the Broncos practice squad in 2023, with Broncos writer Scotty Payne saying this about him, quote, "His athleticism and pass rushing ability are not really there, but he has the size, thickness, and ability to be a space-eating nose tackle. This is what he did at Penn State, and likely what he will do in the NFL if given the chance. What you are also getting is a high-character player who is a 2-time team captain at Penn State." Now, Mustipher spent a good amount of time on the Broncos practice squad this past year before the Saints decided to steal him, where he ended up actually playing in 4 games, and he ended up registering 4 tackles and 42 total defensive snaps. So now the Eagles get him, he'll probably come in as a depth piece, and again, somebody that's just going to be training camp competition and will try to compete for a roster spot. So with all that being said, what do you guys think about this signing? Plus, on top of that, the Eagles also just made another interesting addition, this time at slot cornerback, as the Birds signed former Raiders DB Tyler Hall to a 1-year deal. I also think that this is a pretty good depth signing. I mean, the Eagles pretty much had no actual backup slot cornerback last year when Avonte Maddox went out, so now Hall can come in and actually provide some depth at that position, as in his few years playing in the NFL, he's played primarily in the slot, and he saw a decent amount of action for the Raiders the past couple years. So, again, I think this is a solid signing, but what do you guys think? Now, in addition to those moves, the Eagles also made the Oren Burks signing official on Tuesday, with the Birds, of course, adding the former Packers and Niners linebacker on a 1-year deal, and he also was introduced for the first time as a member of the Eagles on Tuesday, where he explained his play style, his strengths, and what exactly he hopes to bring to the defense.
I'm a long guy, obviously 6'3" frame, a lot of speed. I pride myself in making tackles in space, being relentless. Yeah, that's kind of the name of my game, fast and physical.
Plus, on top of that, Burks also shared that he believes he could really help on special teams.
Ultimately, just on teams, for me, it's all about just effort and want to. And I feel like on my tape, like I didn't play a ton of teams as much last year because I was a little bit more in defense. But you look at my time in Green Bay and early in San Francisco, like I was a difference maker on special teams. So I know that could definitely be my role here as well.
I mean, overall, as I said in my last video, I do like the Burks addition. I like his athleticism, and I think he adds good depth at the linebacker position and also help on special teams, and of course, that doesn't come without its drawbacks. I mean, he was pretty terrible in the Super Bowl, and one of the reasons why the Niners did lose that game, but overall, one bad game does not define a player, and I'm excited to see what Burks can do now that he's an Eagle. And that leads me into the Eagles' other addition at linebacker, which is obviously Devin White, which, although you guys know that I do have my concerns with him, I must admit, this signing continues to grow on me as time goes on, especially after what he said when he was introduced on Tuesday, and that's probably just my nature as an optimistic, delusional Philly fan, but as I've said before, White is much better than anybody the Eagles had at linebacker last year, and he's going to make some splash plays. My only concerns are his inconsistency, his problems defending the run and missing tackles, and also the fact that he's coming off a career-worst season where he dealt with an injury and then was benched. However, White seems to be looking past that and looking forward to his future with the Eagles, as he says he's 100% healthy and ready for a fresh start.
Right now, I'm 100% healthy. I think that's where it started at, just getting healthy. And I think mentally, but in those times I went through a lot, on and off the field. And I think I'm just back in a great mental standpoint and just, it's ball, ball, ball. I don't think it's a lot of other distractions going on. So I think mentally I'm in a better position than like a fresh start position. Like when I came in the NFL, I had no expectations. I just wanted to play ball, have fun, and win games. I think I'm really just so much back into that mindset.
So to me, that really sounds great. I mean, again, Devin White is coming off the worst year of his career, and one of the reasons for that was his injury. So it's great to hear that he's healthy, and then mentally too. I mean, that's a huge part of it, and it's also awesome to hear that he's feeling good and just locked in for next year. And along the same lines as that, White also pretty much said during the press conference that he's hungry to go out next year and bounce back from a rough season last year, plus he's ready for the challenge of earning it all once again.
It's an opportunity to go show why I was drafted top 5, why I helped the team win a Super Bowl, and obviously just to prove I do what I do. I don't lack any confidence, as far as being on a one-year deal. I didn't shy away from it. I think it was the best thing that happened. Like, hey, last year wasn't, who you were. That's never been Devin White on, in and out on tape, just dealing with everything I dealt with. Now you get the opportunity on an even bigger stage, just a bigger platform here. I think it's a better all-around team built right here, right now to go do great things, and I just want to be a part of that. And I think, obviously, being with these guys help my transition, even make it even easier for me, because it's a lot of great surrounding support cast. So I think it was a perfect situation, a guy that never get hurt, end up taking an injury. What a coincidence against the Eagles in week 3, and just really trying to just battle through that mentally and physically. And it just didn't work out for me. It didn't end in my favor, but at the end of the day, I found the positive side in it, and I went back to work. And now I'm here in a great spot, just ready to show who I really am. So right now I got a clean start, 0 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 picks, 0 wins, and now I'm trying to go earn it all again.
So you gotta love that. I mean, the guy sounds hungry, he sounds confident, and just ready and excited to be an Eagle and to prove that he is a top linebacker in this league. And again, I am somebody who does have my concerns with Devin White, but at the end of the day, he's definitely an improvement at linebacker, his resume is impressive, and he absolutely killed this press conference. And it's got me more excited than I was when the Eagles initially made the move. Plus, on top of this, White also just continued to emphasize that he's super excited to be an Eagle, and he's just locked in on that and this year and the potential of it. And he also explained that the main reason he signed with the Birds in the first place is to be a part of a winning culture and a winning organization. So it's good to know how the Eagles organization is viewed around the league by players as a spot to be in a winning culture. I mean, they were able to attract a guy that played the first 6 years of his NFL career for a rival organization in Saquon Barkley, and he seems thrilled to be here. And speaking of which, Saquon's daughter's just hilarious, and she already seems to be one of us. As Saquon said that she low-key took a shot at the Giants after he signed with Philly.
Obviously, my son doesn't understand, but my daughter, funny story with her, she knows there's a lot of history in my career with the Eagles. I remember one time when I was with the Giants and we lost to Philly in the playoffs, we went to diner to get some breakfast, and there was a bird, and she was like, "Daddy, oh no, oh no." And I'm like, "What is it?" She points to the bird, and she was like, "It's the Eagles, it's the Eagles." And me and Anna, we just started laughing, and I just put my head down, I just kind of start shaking. So when I told her that we're going to be going to Philly, she kind of was just like, "Does that mean we're going to win now?" And I just started smiling again, and I was like, hopefully we can win some more games.
I I mean, dude, that's pretty funny. And on top of this, she already knows the fight song.
I know, but they had chicken tenders yesterday. Otherwise, she's a big fan of ketchup.
How do you know the song?
Because she was like,
already hit.
Daddy, I pointed to you because now you spell how to say these are Eagles.
You want to see it again?
Eagles. Woo, fly. Eagles, fly.
I don't know, man. I mean, she seems pretty happy about her dad signing with the good guys. But in all seriousness, the Barkleys seem to be fitting in great in Philly, and I just can't wait to watch Saquon and all the new additions really just wearing Eagles uniforms. But now, just kind of circling back here, I do want to touch on one more thing from Devin White's press conference, and that's what White said about Nakobe Dean, because we all know that the Eagles are still internally very confident in Dean, and he's going to be relied upon a lot next year to step up in a bigger role. And White, being a guy that has had success in this league before, just sounds ready to challenge him and take on more of a mentor role to help Dean.
Just knowing you got a guy over there you can trust. I think with two linebackers, I think the number one word is trust. But I mean, also it made me grow up faster. You know, when I came in the league, I had the green dot, you know, from day one to year 5. I wore the green dot. You know, I think I made his job even easier as well. And the same for Nakobe. You know, I recruited him coming out of college. You know, I was at LSU and he ended up going to Georgia, and we didn't lose sight of each other. We kept in touch, you know, just out of respect of linebacker ball. So just being able to work with him, you know, I think we could teach each other, we can motivate each other as well, because I think I used to motivate Levante being a younger guy, and he wanted to keep up with me. And now I'm still a young guy, and he's a young guy, and I think we just want to just beat each other, you know, as just far as, you know, everything. Beat me to the ball, you know, beat me to the building, you know, work harder than me in the weight room. Like, I'm going to challenge him, and hopefully he going to challenge me back, and I think we'll just make each other better.
So that honestly sounds great to me because, I mean, if the Eagles get good linebacker play from both guys, then the chances of their defense being really good shoots up just based on recent history. So overall, what do you guys think? In the case that White and Dean are in fact the starting linebackers rolling into next season, what's your guys' confidence level in that? But now moving on, of course, one of the main storylines that's been going on with the Eagles recently has to do with Haason Reddick and whether they'll end up extending him or not, or if they'll end up trading him. And we've got a bunch of updates on that in recent days, with a report coming out not too long ago saying that the Eagles were moving Reddick's $1 million roster bonus that was originally due on March 15th to April 1st, which basically just suggested that the Eagles and Reddick are buying time to find a trade partner so that the Eagles don't have to pay that money. So that's one thing suggesting that a Reddick trade could potentially be coming soon. And then on top of that, we have reporter Jeff McClain saying that the Eagles and Reddick are not close to getting a deal done, as he said, quote, Haason is pretty much adamant that he wants to receive a certain amount in terms of a new deal for what he believes he is worth on the open market, and the Eagles aren't really willing to pay that. So that definitely does not sound promising if you're hoping that Haas returns on an extension. And then just to make matters worse, you have Adam Schefter coming on 97.5 The Fanatic and giving us another update on the situation, saying this.
What's the latest that you're hearing on Haason Reddick?
Yeah, listen, I think it's no secret that they're open to dealing him. I think at this point in time, it's just a question of if and when somebody's going to step up and give them the right offer. And until they do, they're not going to move him. I think they're determined to get what they want, which wouldn't be an overly amount of compensation, and they're not going to move him until then. And if they don't get it, then you hold on to it, which is, I think he wants a new deal, and I'm sure he'd like to be traded as well. So it's probably in everyone's best interest. It just hasn't happened yet, though. Again, I think all sides are working towards it.
So honestly, at this point, just based on this report and all the other information we've gotten up to this point in recent days, it seems like a trade is the most likely scenario, and the Eagles are just waiting on a team that's willing to pay Reddick and give proper compensation. So who knows when that could happen? It may even go past that April 1st deadline, and the Eagles are going to have to pay him that $1 million. I mean, I could definitely see this whole thing going into the draft and even past that, but I guess only time's going to tell, and we'll see how this plays out. But just assuming that he is traded, I mean, we know it's going to hurt the Eagles pretty bad, because we know that Haason Reddick is an absolute beast. He's been their best defensive player for a couple years now, and losing his pass rushing ability off the edge definitely is going to hurt the Eagles defense for sure, which makes you question if this would be a mistake to let him go. I mean, the Birds are trying to win a Super Bowl now, and if you let Reddick go, then your team clearly gets worse. Now, I understand the whole situation with the money and not wanting to overpay for a near 30-year-old edge rusher, but the guy is a star, so you guys can let me know what you think down in the comments. Would trading Haason Reddick end up being a huge mistake for the Eagles? And also, you can let me know your thoughts on anything else that I talked about in this video down below in the comments. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and also, really importantly, turn on notifications so you don't miss any other Eagles free agency updates just like this. And also, I mean, we're going to be covering the Eagles throughout this entire offseason and leading into next season and beyond that. So again, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and also drop a like down below to show some support. And if you want to watch another video going over a move that the Eagles absolutely have to make this offseason, then you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.